So hello and welcome along, and the ride test of this WK MXI 125. If you've not seen the review and walk around video, scroll back and look at the other videos of this bike. So we're going to go out, we're going to give this a ride test and see just how good this WK is. So let's start the bike up, checking out that display. Beautiful colour display on this, very easy to read even in bright sunlight. So decent set of mirrors again. Yes, mirrors are super wide. You'll see that when I sit on the bike. Now we're going to shoot off two cameras today. We're going to shoot off the drift and we're going to shoot off of the GoPro. Starting with front view of the bike, you've got those LED projector style headlights to the top. Indicators mounted just at the side and they are big and wide, so you're going to make sure that you get seen when you're out riding the bike. And the tyres on these are very good as well. Check out the spec all in the review of this on the other video, but throwing the leg over now, looking down, I'm sat on the seat 5'10", I'm on the main stand, but flat footed on this, and even off of the main stand I've got a bit of bend in the leg. So if you're 5'10", 32-inch leg, it's nice and comfortable, and the riding position is very good. Now from the GoPro, look, I've literally got this much of my shoulder in each mirror, so great view of the road behind. And you've got this high screen to the front, obviously not as wide as you'd expect on a scooter, but it's enough to deflect the wind out of the face. And emblazoned in the centre of the bars you've got the WK logo. USB phone holder. Is it good enough to take a mobile phone? Well, I will show you. S23 straight in there, it disappears, so there is loads of room should you wish to store your mobile phone in there, and I'm going to leave mine in there just to see how good it is. And I trust the brand new phone in this bike, all £1,200 worth of it. Right, let's get out and have a ride test now. Holding it on the back brake, look, feet up, 3 to 2 mile an hour. So let's go and have a ride and have a little bit of a chat about this WK MXI 125. Very stable once you are moving the bike around. So visor down, checking those mirrors. Lovely wide view of the road behind. Now, compared to other brands of scooters, and I did say the engine on this is very similar. It's a water-cooled engine on this one, very similar to what you would see on a Honda PCX. It's exactly the same configuration. So let's open it up, and it doesn't take long to get this thing up to 45 mile an hour, obviously for the purposes of test mileage. Now this is a customer's bike. He purchased this a few days ago. It's had the pre-delivery inspection, number plates and L plates all on it, filled up with fuel. Now we put 5 litres in for the purposes of test riding, and 5 litres just gives me 2 bars, so there is loads and loads of room to get some fuel in this bike. And it is very nippy and cold this morning. It's horribly cold. It's about 4 degrees today. What happened to the sunshine? So this is customer Jason's bike. He has said I can use his first name, but obviously for the purposes of ride test we do not show number plates on our videos, and if we do, it happens to get blurred out. Quick shoulder check. Let's pop it back up to speed. Now as you can see, it doesn't take long to get it to the 40 to 45 mile an hour for test mileage. Now servicing on these is slightly different to, say for instance, a lexmoto. So 500 miles or 3 months, I have been told, is first service interval. Your next one is 2,500 and 6 months. So it's 500 less than what you would get on a lexmoto. Lexmoto is around about 3,000. Service mileage on this, 2,500 and 6 months, and then yearly every 2,500. So slightly different on the mileage. but they're all much of a norm when you start to obviously running them in and getting test mileage on them. But as I always say, up to the first 500 miles, keep the bike 40 to 45, run the engine in, and forget all these people who say the engines are pre-running in the factory. If they had to do that and they're putting out 100 bikes a day, you would not have time to bed in an engine. It is down to the customer, and the onus is put onto the customer to make sure that they are running the bike at the correct speed. But comfort on this seat is so soft and comfortable, and it makes a change. Normally scooter seats are absolutely hard as nails or so soft that you're sinking into the seat. This is pretty darn spot on. Bar position is very, very good. No ache on the arms, and my arms are slightly lower than obviously my shoulders, but the riding position is very, very good. And just see how quick that runs away with you. Obviously just trying to keep an eye on the speed while I'm waffling, and it does run away with you very, very quick. There is loads and loads of power on one of these. And we did compare obviously the other model, the SXI, to the Lexmoto Diablo. Very, very similar in shape and style, or the Titan. And when you start comparing horsepower ratios and top speeds, now for instance, if I say to you the Lexmoto Titan is 7.2 horsepower, and according to their spec it is maximum speed of 50 miles an hour. And you compare that to the WKSX, which is obviously the equivalent of the Diablo. Diablo is just a little bit more horsepower, and they reckon that should do 60. But when you compare the WKSX, which is 9 horsepower and a top speed of 65, spot on. Now the MXI, obviously water-cooled engine, a little bit more grunt, a little bit more horsepower, and then when you compare this to the similar model made by other dealers, you will find it's got about 1.5 to 2 horsepower more and 10 to 15 mile an hour more on the top speed. And for the price, 2,599, plus obviously your on the road fees with your dealer, as I said in my other video on the SX, you'll get a lot of bang for your buck. And believe me, this screen, now normally if I stick my head up just a little bit, have a listen to that wind noise tucked down behind the screen, and most of it disappears. I've still got a bit of wind noise, but obviously I've got an LS2 helmet on, and these are very noisy helmets. You like to hear the wind noise, and my chin buffer is in place. I've got a necktie on as well today, neck scarf on as well. Back that speed off, Dave, back that speed off. Cool. This thing on the hill climb, Jesus, it's got some power climbing this hill. I'm having to hold the bike back on the throttle just for the purposes of running in, but it doesn't take long for it to start gaining speed on you. And obviously once this is running, this thing is going to fly. Yeah, there's a lot of horsepower for a 125 scoot. It's got a lot of horsepower to it. And climbing this hill, now normally we drop about 2 miles an hour climbing one of these hills. I've tried to lock my right hand off as much as I can and keep it around about 42, but I'm getting absolutely no drop in speed whatsoever. So that just proves the point. It's got lots of guts there to pull it up a hill. Now obviously I'm only 12'10" in weight, 12 stone 10 in weight, but absolutely spot on perfect. This bike is very, very good, and to actually maintain one of these, and the other thing I did like, it's obviously very easy to get in to check the spark plug, easy to get in to do your oil, and the water and the coolant is very easy to top up. It's all under that right hand foot panel. All you do is pull the rubber up, little plug under there, get in, and you can top your coolant up as well. So very, very easy to maintain, service, and do all the bits that you need to do. So we're 5 miles in. We normally put about 10 miles test mileage on a bike, and it feels like I've only done about 1 mile because it's that comfortable. So well done WK. Yet again, Another great scoot. I am really enjoying these WK bikes, and it's just the build quality. You can tell just looking at a bike how good the build quality is. The plastics aren't flimsy. It's got some decent plastic to it. It's got some decent tyres on it, you know, none of this nylon-y Chinese stuff that comes out with your cheaper models. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with nylon tyres. If you go back to sort of the 70s and the 80s, most of the British bikes back then had the nylon tyres. Nobody had ever heard of the Michelin Pilots or the Pirelli Angel Corsas or the Diablos, but once again it's running away with me, this bike. It's just, and I'm literally, it's just the tiniest little bit of throttle here, and there is, believe me, a lot of power there. You can just hear it when I open that throttle up, and it just wants to go. So yeah, a lot of power. I can see once this is running, getting an easy 65-70 out of this bike, not a problem. Where other sort of 125s with less horsepower will be struggling to get themselves above 50. So well done WK. Let's do the reach score. And if you follow my reviews, everybody goes, oh, comfort handling, blah blah blah. I call it reach. Rideability. What's it like for rideability? I'm going to bang this out 10 out of 10. The rideability of this bike, I am enjoying every second, and I'm not a scooter lover. I love being on my big touring bikes and my sports bike, but for a scoot, rideability on this, a full 10 out of 10. Economy, now I have been told obviously on these, most 125s you're going to be averaging sort of anything between 80 to 100 to the gallon. When you compare that to your modern day bikes and your cars that are doing sort of 30s and 40s, you're going to be getting a lot of economy. Check those brakes out, lovely. You're going to be getting a lot of economy out of this bike. Affordability, well, I can tell you now, at 2599 on this one, it is 200 quid less than some of the equivalent models, which is an absolute blast. So the affordability, they're pushing out a decent bike, or an excellent bike should I say, for really good money. So the affordability, 10 out of 10. So we're on 30 so far. Comfort, what can I say? I've been going on about this seat. I am bouncing around like a good one. Comfort on this, apart from it being freezing cold, comfort on it, yep, sorry guys, but it's going to be a full 10 out of 10. And as for the handling, well, you can't fault it. It's got loads of power, it steers where you want it, the brakes on it are absolutely spot on, and with these tyres, they're lovely. It's grippy, yes it is grippy. So handling, once again, full 10 out of 10. I think this is probably one of the first bikes in about the last 6 months I've bashed on a full 50 out of 50. I can't fault this bike. There is absolutely nothing that I would want to change on this bike, apart from, does it have an aftermarket rack? If it had an aftermarket rack, and I'm sure WK have already thought of that idea, so you can put a top box on to hold your bag or your crash helmet or your bits and pieces, that'd be an idea. You can probably hear my phone going off in there. Yes, it's 10 o'clock, it's coffee time. Coffee and cigarette break back at the garage, so I shall be back there soon. We'll ignore the little diddly ding ding going off in the but my phone's doing great in there. It's bouncing around, but it's in a cover, but I'm not worried about my phone jumping out of that little holder. And 1300 quid's worth of phone sitting in there, not a problem. Totally trust this bike, absolutely love it. Let's get the visor up for a minute and have a listen. Not the alarm, we're going to listen to the sound of the engine. So get an earful of this. I'm just going to open it up. Look at that, straight to 30, and it is starting to rain as well. Oh, lovely. So made it back just in time. So if you're interested, WK, MXI or 125, got plenty of these in stock along with the SXs. give the guys at Eclipse Motorcycles a call. It's on the website, eclipsemotorcyclesmk.co.uk. You didn't see me, did you? No, that's why I hung back. Audi, what did you expect? So, check the website out, eclipsemotorcyclesmk.co.uk. Or you can give the bike sales team a call, 01908 822 458, or the main garage number 01908 643 603. Speak to Rebecca on the bike sales team. Tell them you've seen RB's video. I'm heading back for a cup of coffee and to warm up. But WK MXI, absolutely love this bike. Great ride today, love it. So till the next time, guys, and when we're out riding, be well, ride safe, and from RB, it's a big goodbye from me.